Yep, sync with you.
Stinky.
You should have 3 light and 3 dark. But who remembers what happened last time?
I don't.
No
So-
shit. Well, I mean, technically you could, because you could actually go watch the VODs, like the intention behind them.
Last we
No.
left off, we were getting ready to run because Galatea shot the hut.
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get out of that one. You saw your chance and you took it. And like, do you know
he's
how
gonna
much?
make us do shit?
Do you know how much soak huts have? Like,
He
you're
was
really
in
lucky you got that
we
crit.
killed him in front of us. If it wasn't for you, he'd be dead before this. Ugh. I'm a giant douchebag. Go.
Okay, now that we have that out of our systems, what actually happened?
We had a peaceful chit chat with the hut. Then we went back to. Actually, no, we went to the shop first to pick up parts. We learned all about FFG rarity rules and value and negotiation rules. Eventually, trading a bunch of stuff that we'd picked up for the part that we needed. We installed the part, and then we had a nice little group team building activity on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Team building, in quotation
building.
marks.
Yeah, in quotes.
All right. So you guys had to go back to the ship to get a couple of things because the hut was willing to enter into negotiations with you. He just wanted to know the exact demands and kind of start going over the paperwork. However, once you reached the ship, Kana kind of revealed a slightly pressing issue.
A little bit.
The Empire has already arrived, and they're in the other hangar in the city. So is there any last minute RP that we need to do on the ship? Or are we instantly leaving and heading back to the palace?
Oh, damn it.
Attention turns towards the Jedi.
Nope.
High or low?
Nothing to talk about here.
Joe, high or low?
Whichever one is the good outcome.
I'll answer. Oh,
Low? Okay. Connor doesn't say anything.
Nope. Nothing to talk about here. We're good to go.
She's eyeing you a bit, but nothing to
Good
say.
to go.
Okay, with the awkward cold shoulder that's going on the ship, Gal healed up Iffy from slapping her a few good times. Not
Fine.
fun being slapped by a droid.
No, it's like taking your ring, not taking your rings off, but like to the nth power.
And you all take a chance to get cleaned up if you want to get cleaned up and kind of regroup for a second. And then you head back out of the ship. And it takes you about a good 30-45 minutes to wrap up everything on the ship and get back out of the hangar. And once you all exit back into the city, the air is still heavy with smoke and particles from the fire, but you can tell it's still being managed and shrinking slowly but surely. You are all fairly certain that fire is not going to go out probably before you leave. As people are just having to continue to deal with it, and the manpower, now that things seem to not be risking a all-out explosion in the crater, the manpower seems to be waning as exhaustion kicks in and injuries finally become too pressing to ignore for those that were continuing to push through. And the ship that seemed to have been helping manage the fire and try to quell it a little bit has returned to the spot up on the canyon wall where it was parked previously. Seemingly either done with helping or unable to help or something, as it's no longer flying around trying to drop any type of fire-resistant chemicals. And you all slowly make your way up the stairs to the top of the crater and to the palace again. And I seem to have accidentally deleted the palace map. Give me 2 seconds. I knew that there was a problem in all the shuffling that I did. And as you make your way up into the palace, you can hear a few more sounds. Like before, when you came last time, it was just kind of eerily quiet at first, as the standoff was happening. But now you can hear the general sounds of movement and of people seeming to be trying to help clean up the palace. Yeah, there we go. And as you all step through the entryway, you see that the various Haxian brood that you had encountered, droids and otherwise, seem to have been cleaned up. They are no longer laying in the entryway or the hallway. And further on, you can see what you imagine to be slaves or servants based off of how poorly they're dressed, kind of rushing around trying to sweep up and clean. And as you progress down the hallway, nobody seems to stop you. There's a couple of strange looks from the servants as you're passing, and you can hear, this is the telltale signs of cleaners and mops and things, and it very much seems to be the aftermath. Do you guys proceed directly to the throne room, or do you do anything else?
I'd say if he's probably interested in going directly to the throne room. If you guys want to look around and explore or check out that room over here that we didn't get to, we could also do that.
Nah.
I say we get the steel going.
Boy. I'll be here. Right behind you.
Okay. You all proceed directly to the throne room, and as you all enter, you see that there's a couple of guards still hanging around the throne room, cleaning themselves up, cleaning their weapons up. The 2 captured Haxian brood members are nowhere to be seen.
Curious.
And you do see down in the pit the mounted head of the Haxian brood leader, just on a pike in the center of the pit. And Timo is on his throne. He seems to have gathered some pickings from the cleaned up bodies. Can't tell if it's from the things you missed from the Haxian brood that you dealt with, things from other bodies that were around that you're seeing that only just kind of piles of blood at this point that have yet to be fully cleaned. And so there's kind of some weapons in stacks of credits and a couple of data pads and various just kind of odd objects that he's got laid out on a table before him, and he's just kind of sorting through with this kind of bored disdain. And as... Oh, I should actually change this. As you all enter, he slowly turns his head towards you and looks you all over. And again, kind of stares a little bit longer at Galatea. And then turns his attention towards Iffy and just waits. He doesn't greet you. He just waits.
Your Highness, I've arrived with our terms of agreement.
And you just hear this rumble from his chest. And he lifts his chin and just kind of a jerking motion of like, you can come closer. And the guards kind of step out of your way. And one of them does push up like a stool to the other side of the table. Not a nice chair by any means, but it's a chair that is being offered.
I'll take the chair. I'll take the shitty stool. Might not fit under the table, but we'll make it work.
And as you settle, he just leans back in his cushions for a minute and lifts his chin. So let me see the exact terms. He holds out a hand for the data pad that you were given for the negotiations.
I will hand over the data pad. I will not. I'll make sure the photo reel is closed before I do so. But I will hand him the data pad.
And he begins to scroll through it. And you can see that he is actually reading. He is taking his time, scrolling through, okay, this is standard. Here's an interesting paragraph. He's taking the time to stop and read, which just stretches into this kind of long, uncomfortable silence in the room. None of the slaves or servants seem to be willing to enter into the room while there is quote-unquote business going on, even though they have things that they need to be doing as well. Those of you that hung back by the door, you can kind of see a couple kind of start down the stairway, see you guys there, turn around, go back up the stairway into the rest of the palace, or poke their heads around the corner and you hear little whispers before they kind of run off. And let's see here. Tima and the guards, though they stay in position, you can tell, Iffy, because you're close enough to them, all of them are just kind of exhausted. They're there physically, but not mentally at this point. But Timo, as per any interaction with the HUD, as soon as it turns to business, he is laser focused. And he essentially starts, after reading through about half of the contract, he scrolls all the way back to the top and actually starts marking things.
Of course. Of course.
And as he is doing that, he kind of puts it down on the table as he starts to work on that. So you can see where he is marking. And it's very much in this, like, he is going to haggle every credit in every quota in the entire contract, as far as you can tell. Because there's not a single time a number goes by that he has not marking a change or marking like a question mark or something like that. And in the back of your mind, you're just like, it's not going to be a fun one. So you've dealt with people before. You've dealt with the ones that don't even read the contract. You've dealt with the ones that fight the contract, and he's fighting it. But let me see here. Look at this really fast. Anybody that wants to, as you're all watching this, and it's been a couple of minutes already since this has started. Anybody that wants to, you can either roll vigilance or skullduggery. You'll get different answers if you do good. It'll be 3 purple, either one.
Purple. I'm gonna try for skullduggery. Let's fucking go.
Not bad.
I'll give vigilance a try.
All right. Can I also roll?
Yeah.
Or- All right.
Anybody that wants to.
You
I'll
said
try
3 purple?
Skulldug.
Sklug.
2, 3. Remove that force die. There we go. I got a threat. That's also one too many die, I think. So, yeah.
Okay.
Would the uncanny reaction give me...
No, not for this. This is not combat.
Okay. No, hang on.
Okay.
Damn. Fucking.
So if you are sitting there watching this and you are just so wrapped up in this, like, accepting your fate for the next couple of hours, you just feel it in your bones. And it's like, you are trained in this, you're good at this, you enjoy it sometimes, but this is not going to be a pleasant negotiation by any means. Especially after all the bullshit you've gone through over the past couple of days. And
Just doing all this negotiation, like, after inhaling a bunch of smoke, almost getting shot several times.
you've officially gone into this. Of course, I'm going to have to haggle every number in this entire, like, 60-page contract. This would be the cap to this excursion.
Of course.
And Marcy, you are still, like, you are also not super used to this type of experience of having to be out in the desert and then getting in fights constantly and explosions. And much like the guards, you are hitting a point of physically there, mentally gone. You just want to get off the planet, and into a jump so that you can go to bed on your ship.
Sounds good.
Let's see. We have a skullduggery and a vigilance. So, Kane, as you're watching, you're paying a little bit more attention to the Hut and his body language. And you're not super experienced with dealing with the Hut. You've only met a very small handful. But there's just... You've seen him annoyed now. You've seen him facing off against somebody with a pistol pointed at him. You saw him for a brief moment amused when you first walked into the throne room on the very first day. But he is not annoyed, even though he is digging into the meat and bones of this contract. He's not amused. He's not angry. There's something weird in his posture and in his actions and in kind of the vibes that seem to be radiating off of him. And you can't quite put your finger on it, but it's making your skin crawl just a little bit.
This is like it's like some kind of suspiciously positive emotion.
You're not even sure it's positive.
Okay.
You're just like, okay, I know he's not pissed off because he's not threatening to, like, kill anybody. He's not amused because there's a certain body language that seems to be universal to all Hut of being extra, like, blobby, almost, when they are amused and happy and pleased about something. He is hiding something, maybe, or maybe this is just some weird thing that he's got going through his head that you're not quite sure what it is, but it's putting you on edge.
Okay. So...
Kana...
Oh, go ahead.
Kana, you likewise are seeing this with the Hut. There's something you're not really able to put your finger on that's putting you on edge. And you kind of look around the room and it's like, okay, there's nothing else in this room, as far as I can tell. It's just the remnants of the fight that we were a part of. You kind of look over your shoulder. It's like, okay, there's nothing from that direction. And you kind of take a step back and your mind starts racing as you're trying to figure out, okay, what is it about this that's making me not feel good? What's different? Is there anything different? And you are just aware enough in the Force to realize there was something big, very big, below this throne room before. It is not there anymore. That's weird. And you kind of turn your head again back towards the stairway and you're listening very intently. And you're hearing the servants and slaves, but they seem to be tucking themselves away into the rooms more.
Can I use a Jedi mind trick to try
what?
and get their surface thoughts?
Do you have an ability for that specifically currently?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, could you read that for me or screenshot it for me really fast?
Sure.
Eventually, I will memorize exactly what force powers all of you have. But today is not that day.
Oh, this day.
If I roll it, it'll like put everything out, right?
It might.
Did it not? Okay. Well, I will copy and paste. It's spend a light/dark. The force user senses the current thoughts of one living target within whom she is engaged.
Okay. So you'll clear your force pool and you'll roll a single force die. Or you'll clear your dice pool.
That.
Now, who are you? Okay. So if you want to do it, you'll have to use a dark side point, which will incur difficulties. Forget the fucking word right now. Then you also need to tell me, if you do choose, who you're targeting.
I think she's a little too on edge to tap in right now.
Okay. Joe, were you wanting to do something?
I was gonna ask, Iffy, how long would you imagine that Kane and you have worked together? Because I imagine if they've worked together for a decent enough amount of time, there's probably been one or two situations where this sort of like, no, I don't trust it, something's up kind of feeling has come up. And I wanted to ask, like, would we have some sort of like subtle like word or tick to be like, hey boss, do you have the time? And then that means something is fishy or some shit. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think we've probably got something. Asking for the time makes a lot of sense.
Because whatever it is, Kane would like he's getting that sort of tingly sense in the back of his head, like, no, something's up. I've been to one too many criminal places to feel good about how this is going so far. And he will send you that signal really quickly, and whether or not that's picked up by the hut is less important to him, because he's just like, no man, I don't trust it. There's some shit going down.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. When if he receives the signal, just glance around. You know, Your Highness, I've dealt with some Hut before. They always struck me as very decisive people. But do we really need to be quibbling over these tiny little numbers here? I mean, you're a busy Hut. I'm a busy woman. Can't we just agree to the broad terms and then settle the numbers later?
And Timo kind of pauses what he's doing and looks towards you. And there's the two golden eyes just boring into you in the relative even mood he's had, as far as you are aware. You immediately sense the tick of annoyance.
Oh, man. Everything if he says annoys me.
You expect me to sign something that I have any issue with?
I'm not saying to, not to sign it if you've got a big issue with it. But surely you agree to the broad point of helping us out with this, right, don't you?
I'm reviewing your contract, aren't I?
You are. And I thank you for your careful consideration. Not everybody pays so much attention to contracts as you're clearly doing. I mean, you're one of the most thoughtful people I've ever worked with if you're reading it this closely. But could you at least clue me into your thought process a little bit here? Make this more of a, negotiation.
Well, I was going to go over all of it as soon as I was done. But if you insist. And he scrolls all the way back to the top of the contract.
Oh God. Oh,
And starts going over the markings that he is making. And to be fair, he is, of course, you can tell that he is 100% trying to squeeze every credit out of this as he can and make as favorable terms. But as he starts going through it and explaining his issue, he seems to have what sounds like, at the very least, a legitimate concern or question or issue with every mark that he has made.
God damn it! This fucking hut.
this fucking hut speaks legalese.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're dealing with a fucking lawyer hut.
Job of the lawyer.
Job of the lawyer. Alright,
Lawyer, the hut.
can I roll negotiation here to try and solve some of these issues in
Yeah.
an expeditious manner?
It is negotiation 3 purple.
Do I get respected delegate?
Yes.
Thank you. Alright, negotiation
Please,
3 purple.
May I have some respected delegate?
It's very important, okay? It is a very important ability. Alright, so 3 purple reduced twice. Do I want to use a light side on this? No, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I'll go roll. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sheesh.
So
If he's negotiating the shit out of this.
it only takes you like a minute or two to realize, okay, at least he's talking, but he has points here. And so you begin to into this negotiation back and forth of like you let him get through a couple of bullet points essentially. And you're like, okay, let's stop here, let's go back and like revisit these bullet points and play back and forth and back and forth. And he is a hard bargain, but he seems to be at least fairly good in the give and take. You give up a couple of extra credits, he bumps the quota. You extend a deadline, he guarantees something extra. And so there is a fair amount of give and take, but it is very pedantic. He is crossing every T and dotting every I that he can find. And as you're working, it takes a good 30-45 minutes and you only get through like 10 pages of this very long contract. You're at least having the benefit of now you're starting to hit things where it's like, okay, we've already solved that question, so we just need to change this specific thing. But as time is continuing on, Kana and Kane, that edge is not leaving. And it's, in fact, just feeling to get heavier and heavier because you can't quite tell if this, like, little quirk of self-satisfaction in Timo is because he's getting what he's wanting in the contract, or if there's something else. But it's just crawling under your skin and up the back of your neck, and he's just uncomfortable.
Like a splinter in the mind's eye.
Mm-hmm. And Kana and Kane, you two
Fuck.
are going to roll 2 things for me very fast. You're going to roll both of these at 4 purple. First one is vigilance.
Yep.
Kana.
Sorry.
Okay. Remember to take that white die off.
Oh, sorry.
Foolish.
My bad.
And
And then that custom skill.
Force, I fucking knew it. I fucking no. How to get
Spidey
burned.
senses tingly.
Kane, you are frustrated more than anything at this point. Because you have warned Iffy. You know Iffy has picked up on it. She has tried to get things moving. And she has in a sense. But you are just getting more and more uncomfortable, more and more tense in this situation. And you also feel like your hands are tied, though, because you can't make this go any faster without risking something that's going to piss off Iffy at the very least, and probably get you in trouble in ways that you would care not to get in trouble.
God.
Kana, you kind of start looking a little bit more. You eventually settle, like, okay, there's nothing that's going to happen in this room. It's very clearly not anything that's stirring. There's not anything that you've stared at every inch of wall, every step that you can see from your position. Nothing is coming up as like, okay, that's questionable. So you kind of take another couple steps up back towards the hallway and lean just far enough out to kind of catch a glance around the corner. And you realize all the slaves and servants have gone into the other rooms. And the doors are closed.
Mm.
And that's clearing the fuck out if you've ever seen it.
Mm.
And
think the hut-
just as you are seeing that, Kana, you get a little tingle at the back of your mind. There's somebody else with the Force in the city.
I think the hut has made a deal with the Empire that will get them off their backs from now on.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I can't believe I'm using the oldest trick in the book here, but is there happen to be a restroom?
The little Jedi's room.
And you ask that, and like one of the guards just kind of like stares at you stupidly for a second. Timo pauses mid-sentence, glances in your direction, and then continues in his negotiations with Iffy.
Yeah, I was asking like one of the guards.
I know, but he heard it.
Okay.
And
Kane is looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing?
the guard just kind of stares at you for a second. And you don't know if it's just because he's like confused by the question, or if it's like he's trying to get his brain to reboot back into like, okay, I'm being talked to. But he just kind of blinks, and then he finally stands up a little bit straighter and gives a quick little nod and leads you essentially up to like the top of the stairs. And there is a doorway here. Well, at least it doesn't look like it on the map, but we're going to say it's right there once I remember how to reveal areas. There we go. and shows you into this little hallway where there's a couple of restrooms for guests that are not spending the night. And as soon as you enter, he just turns back around and heads back down into the throne room and takes up his spot where he's kind of standing behind Iffy.
Okay. I need to figure out how close this fucking person is.
What are you doing?
Am I able to get out? Like, it's not like the restroom isn't in straight side of the throne room, essentially, right?
Not really. It's like if like at the very far end of a hallway for these people. So like if you're fast enough and quiet enough, you might have a shot of dipping across the hallway and into the main hall without being noticed.
I would like to do that.
Okay. So you will roll a stealth with 2 purple. Okay. So you try to like wait long enough that you feel like this guard has gone back down into the throne room and their back's going to be towards you, but not so long that they have turned back around at their station before you just dive out and try to rush around the top corner. And you manage to get out and mostly across the hall and up around the corner. However, you just kind of trip over the last step and throw yourself behind the pillar. So you make a little bit of noise as you land and try to tuck yourself back out of sight fully. And you see the guard, or the rest of you can hear that happening. You're not quite sure why Kana just dipped like that. You can hear it happening, and you see the guard that has walked past you heading back towards his spot kind of pause and look over his shoulder, confused for a minute. But he just shakes his head and continues back to where he was standing. If he's like over here.
Okay, at least you don't look suspicious. You just look like a clut.
Better than nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going. I want to try and find that that ping, essentially, or try and get a read on where that ping is. So I'm probably gonna leave the place. To be quite honest.
Okay, so you're leaving the palace.
Yes.
Okay.
What the fuck?
So you start out of the palace. No, they're like again. None of the servants or slaves are out. All the doors are closed. So you're not seeing anything. Marcy, are you just walking up the steps to go follow?
Yep.
Okay. You start walking up the steps, and the guards like furrows his brow and will come down to this. This one will come back over here and watch you guys now. And he doesn't seem to have his gun raised, but he's very confused as to why the entourage is leaving now. And now he also sees Kana disappearing around the corner.
Ah, shoot. Sorry, did I mess things up for you?
No, it just seems like people are stepping away for a second.
Timo doesn't
can-
seem to be paying attention. Timo is still
Exactly.
focused on this contract. You just now have guard attention.
I can try and hand wave it a little bit. Let's see. right. How about I will try and smile at one of the guards, and just explain, that whole thing with all of the smoke, it's gotten to some of us a little bit more than others.
And the guard looks towards you and kind of arches a brow slowly. And you can roll a deception
All right. What?
at 3 purple.
3 purple. Okay. All right. I will. Mm?
Nothing. I'm just saying guards are sus. That's all.
Well, I mean, they just had people barge in and point guns at them like 2
Yeah,
hours
it's
beforehand.
very reasonable, really. All right.
Yes.
I will use the light side to upgrade. Then there we go. And I will roll.
Alright.
There we go.
So you say that, and the guard very much looks for a second like he's like, the fuck are you talking about? And looks back up the stairs, and at this point the two of you are around the corner enough that he can't see you. And he just sighs slowly and shakes his head and goes back to his spot. However, he is kind of still anxiously looking towards the hall every minute or so. You've deterred him just enough, but like those of you that remain in the room, you all get the distinct feeling like he's not gonna stay there for super long. That's too much of an anxious bouncing in that guard. He's gonna want to like investigate at some point, but he has stayed for a few minutes at least. All right. So, Kana, you're heading out of the palace. You exit the palace and kind of walk around the side over towards the edge of the canyon wall, looking out over the city. And it looks pretty much exactly like it was when you were climbing up the stairs to the palace this time. Not much has changed. You don't see any extra things on the canyon walls. You don't hear anything strange other than the bustle of the city and the work at the slag works right now. What are you trying to do?
First, my thought is to kind of swing by where our ship is, or their ship is, I guess.
So,
Make sure.
I'm going to take you to this map so that you have context for that.
Okay.
You would come out and essentially end up being over here, kind of behind it.
I haven't been moved yet.
Sorry.
Nice.
There we go. Just move everybody. So you're like over here.
Mm-hmm.
She is all the way over here.
Oh no, I was referring to their ship.
Which is all the way over here.
Wasn't it here, right?
Or what? Whose ship are you talking about? Say a name. Iffy.
Iffy's.
Okay, so Besh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to make sure that nothing's happening to the ship, so I'm going to swing by there first.
Okay. I will remind you, because you have to take the stairs all the way down the wall into the crater and then over into the landing bay. It will take you a good chunk of time. It's a good 30-ish minute walk, at least, if you're keeping a good clip.
Okay.
Because this is like a 4 or 5 story, 6 story, very narrow, very questionable, carved into the canyon wall staircase you have to get down to get to the bottom to begin with. So you still wanting to head to the landing bay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't be really concerned about what's going on in the palace right
Okay. And is Marcy following Kana all the way to the landing bay?
Yeah.
Alright. So, come back over here. The two of you are not on this map now. So, you continue work, Iffy, and you can roll another negotiation check.
Alright.
Which was the 3 purple. See how you continue to do.
Okay. Let's see. First, Joe, do you think Kane would want to go investigate with everyone else? Should if he try and get an out for you here as well, or are you fine staying
If
here?
so, Kane is like confused as to where the fuck they're going.
Mm-hmm.
He is in like concerned about Iffy because the hut is in here. Like, yeah, there's some fishy shit going on, but he doesn't want to leave Iffy alone with the hut.
Okay.
But if you gave him an out, I would roll for him whether or not he takes it.
Okay. So I'll do the negotiation, and then if I get advantage and stuff, I will try and see if I can get you an out. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. So negotiation, 3 purples, was it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's see some advantage while I double check my negotiation for the 4th time. Okay, well, 2 successes. No advantage there, but
Well, you continue to do the work with this hut, and he. The longer you negotiate with somebody, the more you begin to learn their patterns and their kind of what they're looking for, what they're going to fight you on, and what you just might as well not fight them on. And so it's going a little bit faster now because you seem to have established kind of this standard give and take with this hut now. You, as soon as you see certain words, certain things that he starts to bring up, you immediately like, I'm just not going to fight that because it's not going to be that big of a deal, and he's not going to let go of it, and then you know where you can push him. And it begins to feel a little bit more like the negotiation games that you like. Of that strategy of back and forth and back and forth. He is still hard, but it's getting easier. It's getting, even though it's tedious, a little bit not as frustrating on your end. And you are settling very much into the negotiation business game right now. And you guys get through another good 25 pages out of this 60-page document in about the same time it took you to get through the first 10 or 12.
well, that's progress.
And as you start hitting that, like, page 30, 35, that's when this guard finally seems to have had enough, and he starts heading out. Ostensibly on a patrol route.
I will try. Okay. I will try and ask. I'll try and get Kane an out. If he will turn to him and sort of snap her fingers and go, Kane, you know what I forgot? I can't believe this. You're gonna laugh.
He blinks and just goes, "Oh, what did you forget?"
D- my royal jelly drink. You know, the one that I got just from Hapes? They said I was supposed to drink it every day and I forgot. Could you go grab it for me?
There's a part of him that thinks this is a legitimate thing. And he's like, ugh. And then he it takes him a second. He just goes, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sure, I don't mind. It's not like you need me here for negotiations for any reason. And he just kind of starts to take a few steps backwards. And once he gets like 1 foot on the stair, he turns around and hops up the steps.
Okay.
Very subtle.
So you head on your way out, and you essentially end up walking almost shoulder to shoulder with this guard as he makes his way down the hallway. And out into the front lobby. But he stops in the front lobby, kind of looking around, and just gives you this curt little nod of the like, we're in the same profession right now. And
Yeah.
turns and essentially hits the lobby, turns towards the blocked off room into what you think is security of some sort, and disappears into the room, the door sliding closed and audibly locking behind him. But you head out, you hit the lobby. Kana and Marcy are not there. You step outside. They're not there. You can try to spot them from the ledge of the canyon, but there's a long way down and there's a lot of smoke still in the settling in the basin.
He'll do it. He'll do it. He'll run over to the edge of the canyon and just like give a good once over, like right here.
Well, that'll
Or
be
so.
a perception with a 4 purple.
He is hoping. Nope. Fucking nope.
No idea.
He's beginning to think that maybe she actually did want her jelly drink. Just like, oh, okay. Now, what do I go to the ship? Do I go back inside? Fuck. Fuck. He's like just trying to figure out what to fucking do.
Fuck is royal jelly? He asks himself.
He doesn't know. He assumes that that's like like you have some special drink. He's like, I fucking don't even know if that exists, but it's probably something she actually owns.
Sounds like something she would actually own.
He puts his hands and he takes his hands and runs them through his hair in that sort of like panicked, flustered gesture, and is just like, okay, fuck it. And he's just going to run into the city, searching blindly.
Boss, you get the sneaking suspicion sometimes that we're just not gonna be okay.
So you're just running into town square trying to find Kana.
Yes, he's literally just running through town looking
Okay.
for a bright pink Twi'lek.
Alright, so I'm gonna have to do some things so we can keep track of everybody here. Because we have not just split the party, we're going down to like some single people now. So Iffy's in the palace.
Bright pink. Where the fuck did she go?
Kana and
sticking
Marcy
with-
are here.
I am sticking with Iffy.
Kane, you hit the bottom of you'll be essentially hitting the bottom as you're all will be making this roll, at least. Kana, Kane, you guys will be making a force roll. 3 purple. Iffy, you can make a force roll at 4.
Okay.
May the force be with you,
And also with you.
and also with you.
Alright. 4.
God damn it.
Oh shit!
Okay. So, Kane, still nothing. Kana, still that vague, okay, there's somebody else in the city somewhere. Iffy, you, as Kane leaves and Kana has left, the kind of ever-present little tickle at the back of your mind that you've come to associate with Jedi fades, because they're now too far away from you. But then you kind of get it again very, very faintly. It's kind of weird. You're not sure if that's just like, okay, Kane's just like circled the building and now he's close again, or if it's something else. You're not sure, but it's not necessarily comfortable either. You're like, that's a little odd.
Like that. I don't like that one bit. Okay. So, what I'm tempted to do here isn't actually supported by this system.
Dark.
But have you ever played L5R?
No, but you can explain to me what you're trying to do, and I can probably figure something out.
Well, in L5R, you can, I mean, it can transfer. It's just, I got the idea from that. In L5R, you can do this thing called taking a raise, and you can call a certain amount of raises on a roll, and if you succeed on that roll, then you get extra stuff. So I guess the way to translate that would be I would like to make negotiation at a higher difficulty to try and close like now.
Okay. Let's see here. I've been making you roll at 3. So, if you want to try to do that, I will say that you have to make it at 4 purples and a black.
4 purples and a black. Okay. Let me double check if I have anything to remove that black real quick. 4 purples and a black is definitely doable.
Yeah, with your negotiation rolls, that's the high end of doable. But there's a chance.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. It would help if I loaded up Iffy. Alright. No, I can't remove from that. Alright, so I will 4 purples and a black,
You do still get your delegate stuff.
which is very helpful here. 2 yellows, 2 greens, 4 purples, 1 black, remove 2. Alright. I won't use another, because then we'll only have 1 light side point. So, here we go.
Hey.
Thanks, Iffy.
Damn.
Damn.
This is Kira's like, I know I built this character for this.
I got this!
So, you are now without most of your entourage except for Gal, who has historically not been great in this hut's throne room. And you're starting to get a little bit antsy. And then you get this odd tingle in the back of your mind of like, Yeah, Gal did stick with her. You get this tingle in the back of your mind that kind of starting to like set you on edge now, even though you were settling into the negotiation game well. You're starting to be like, okay, there is something going on. And so you start pushing, taking out the pleasant back and forth, not trying to do the incremental to try and get to the middle. You're like, oh, I'm not going to offer 35 instead of 50. I know he's probably just going to settle for like a 43 anyway, so I'm just going to flat out say 43. And Timo, as you're doing this, Timo at first looks like he's like realizing, haha, I'm getting what I want now. But as you're pushing through more and more pages, and it's going faster and faster, and you're not doing the negotiation back and forth. He seems to start becoming to be on edge. He is hesitating at moments and pausing at moments where he wasn't before. He's still working with you, but now he's not watching the contract, he's watching you. With the very kind of inscrutable, unreadable face. You're not quite sure what he's thinking as he's watching you. But he's watching you very intently. And you can see the end of this contract in sight. You are negotiating the last 2 or 3 pages, and then you are 100% certain that Timo's just going to read through it again, just to make sure. But you have it so airtight that there's no way that he can try to renegotiate anything. He's just going to read through it again, but you know you're almost there.
Good.
And as you're reaching like page 58, 59, I am going to take something. I want to see how this goes.
Oh boy.
Cool. So, Kana and Marcy, you guys have gotten to the landing bay. And you reach the landing bay. Doesn't seem to be anything going on there. Ship's still there. The workers still seem to have, like, fucked off to go deal with the fire.
I'm sure.
Kane just sprinting through the streets like a madman. Like, where the fuck did they fucking go?
Where are Kane and Marcy? What are they doing now?
Kane.
Not Kane and Marcy. Kana and Marcy. Sorry.
Oh.
Too many K names.
Noting that this landing bay is good, start heading to the other one. Try and get a ping on that ping again.
Okay, so are you just heading the most direct route?
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, that top main street.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are heading this way. Are you, like, talking to Marcy at all? Telling her what you're doing? Because you just got the shadow now. Or Marcy, are you just hanging around the ship as soon as you get back to the ship?
I'll say, hey, what's going on? Anything I can help you with?
Something just seems really off.
Okay. Well, I have your back. Let's figure this out.
Thanks. Okay.
Are you just looking for something that's just out of sort?
Yeah, I noticed something in the forest, and I just
Got a bad feeling about this?
really bad feeling. Yeah.
Got it.
They said the line.
I did. I totally did.
They said the line.
Like, well, that's valid. So let's go investigate.
You said that Kana felt that there should have been something big underneath the arena, right?
Yeah, some big life form that's not there currently.
Can I see if there are any tracks or something being dragged or like a...
You'd have to go back up to the palace.
Okay. Because I figured if something was being transported through the city, it would have not caused a commotion, but it would have been like noticed. Is kind of my idea.
Yeah, but you'd have to go back up to the palace to see what the tracks, if there are tracks. what the starting would look like, because this is a well-trafficked city. So there's all types of back and forth, wheels and tracks and footprints and everything. So you'd have to essentially find your starting point and trace that thread rather than being like, okay, I'm just looking for the red thread in the,
And then
pile.
orange. Yeah. Would I have to go into the palace, or could I potentially see it from the bottom, or from the entrance eventually?
You wouldn't know unless you start heading that direction. And again, that's the opposite direction from the other bay.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other.
Yeah. I want to head towards the other bay. I'm more concerned about that, to be quite honest.
Okay. So you start up along the north road towards the other bay. So you guys will make it to about here. Kane, at this point, you have just barreled past the barracks and the other cantinas and the other traders and stuff, and are coming past the junk shops and going through the alleys, like just looking. And you're not finding Kana at all. Or Mercy.
Okay. 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 Puts his hands on his hips. Looks left and right. The ship. And then turns and starts sprinting towards the ship. Iffy ship.
Alright, so you turn and you start sprinting. And...
Zero chill.
Iffy. Force at 3. Purple.
Alright.
Kana and Kane. You guys are not going to have to roll for this.
Been expecting you.
Alright. So Iffy, that tingle is not stopping. And it's been long enough since Kane has left that you know it's not Kane.
Oh no. Oh no.
You are fairly certain it's not Kana. Because she's not come back either. So it's somebody, you're not sure. It's something else. But it's not at least the two Jedi you've been exposed to recently.
It's not
And
great.
Kane, you go sprinting back up this street trying to get to the shortcut to the landing bay for Iffy's ship. And you essentially just go flying around this corner just as Kana and Marcy are coming up to it, almost colliding with them.
Look, there's the skid, the dirt, like, and he waves, like, does the windmill arms. Looks left and right, just goes, what were you doing?
What are you doing out here?
What are you doing out here?
Who's with Effie?
Actually, I'm going to make you guys roll it. Just roll me straight discipline, the two of you.
Is that a skill?
Mm-hmm.
Discipline. Yeah, there it is. Man, I wish these skills would tell me what they are when I hover my mouse over them. That would be helpful.
Yeah, there's many wishes with this API, unfortunately. Okay. So that's a success and 2 advantages for Kane. 3 successes, 3 advantages. Alright. So, as you two start into what would probably become a bickering match, you both feel a heaviness immediately fall onto both of you. Just like somebody dropped 1,000 pounds of weight into your mind and into your force sense.
Oh, wow.
And you both realize in the exact same instant there's a Sith in the crater. And whoever they are, wherever they are in the crater, they have pegged both of you.
No.
Kane takes the 2 vibro swords and puts them on his back.
You only have
And-
one Viper sword. I think we sold the other.
Oh, he has
Oh.
2.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
He puts the 2 swords on his back in like a crisscross pattern so that they're holstered up and out of the way. And he is going to, like, he's kind of just staring into the middle distance, looking like he's gonna fucking Where's Waldo spot the Sith amongst all of the shades of brown and gray, and he's like still searching as his hand slowly creeps over to his waist and unclips his lightsaber because there's the instincts are kicking in.
All right. I'll notice everyone going to yellow alert, so I'll do the same and ready my my new blaster.
You both feel this weight in the present, or in the force, in this presence. Both of you have dealt with the Empire and the Sith enough to know that this is either a distraction or this is an intimidation tactic. Because if they were close enough to do something to you directly at the moment, you'd already be fighting.
Kane looks fucking shell shocked, totally frozen solid. Like he has his lightsaber in his hand, and that's as far as it got. He is now like his fingers are twitching and a little shaky, and he is just panic scanning the crowd. This is like frozen in terror Kane.
Kana is also frozen, but she's trying to keep focus and not let her emotions get to her. Just figure out a plan. That's what's important. Her mission is to protect Iffy. So if this is a distraction, that's not good. But she also doesn't want to lead the Sith to Iffy. So is there a way to try and reverse ping, potentially?
Jedi walking around beeping at each other.
As in, like, try to do what what the Sith is doing to you?
Not intimidate, but just get a read on north, south, east, or west, essentially.
So you can roll force at 3 purple and a black.
Okay. And this is general force, correct?
Yes. You're not being able to ping exactly. You feel like they're to the east somewhere. You can't place more than that, though. You're fairly confident that they're not in the landing bay. They're not in the bay's warehouse. And you doubt they're at the palace currently. But other than that, they're opposite direction.
You just hear an
Kana.
audible gulp from Kane.
And that weight is
Kana.
not lifting. The Sith is keeping essentially the force pressure on. And Iffy at this point, even without trying, you can kind of feel it. The little tickle in the back of your mind is becoming a little bit more insistent, essentially.
Marcy's looking out for threats the old-fashioned way.
He is desperately trying to keep her cool despite everything else telling her to run because she knows she can't run without securing this goddamn deal. She's just trying to stick it out. Maybe hurry it along, you know? The negotiation equivalent of playing the music at the Oscars.
Kana stiffly puts her hand in her pocket, pulls out a piece of candy and pops it into her mouth. Takes a breath. We need to get out of here as soon as possible.
There's like it takes a second before he responds. Like he blinked and then looked left and right and then blinked again and just goes, what?
We need to get out of here.
He looks back ahead again, keeping his eyes peeled, just goes, yes, we do.
How far along was Iffy on the contract?
Nearly done, I think.
Good. Can you go get her? We'll head to the landing bay and get the ship going.
He nods, all the while doing this exchange without looking at her, just eyes trained on any group of people that is more than 2 or 3. And he is thumbing, like, nervously thumbing the switch to his lightsaber like the trigger on a gun. Like, full-on max nervousness, but he is cool as a cucumber.
Kana takes a step forward, puts her hands on both of your shoulders, so you look him in the, or you look her in the eye, essentially.
Yeah.
Right now is not the time to panic. Don't get over paranoid. Get to Iffy and keep her safe. I'll keep her here. Okay?
I'll go back to the Hut Palace.
Kane, there's a fucking whirlwind of emotion that is like a mix of like offense, like how dare you lecture me or whatever, but then there's a hint of like familiar trauma or fear, and then there's a bit of indignation, like you don't fucking get it, and then there's like all of that is just snuffed out as he then kind of snaps himself out of it and just goes, okay, yes, and he looks left and right, checks the crowds again, and then looks back at Kana, and he looks at her hands and just goes, can I go?
She lets go, nods, and turns to get to the bay, essentially.
Alright. Kane's heading towards the palace. Kana's heading towards the bay. Marcy, you are which direction?
Palace.
Palace?
Get back with Iffy.
Alright. So, Iffy, in the palace, you are sitting on eggshells. It is taking all the willpower that you possess not to, like, drum your fingers, tap your heel, do something, as you're becoming more and more uncomfortable and more picking up on the nervousness that you imagine Kane had, and was the reason that Kane tried to get you to move things along in the first place, like an hour and a half ago. And you have negotiated out the contract. If it wasn't for the fact that you are so immensely uncomfortable at the moment, you would be certain that this would be almost a crowning achievement. And because this is a deal that with a hut that is not, as far as you can tell, completely fucking over the Republic. But you're just like sitting there waiting and watching and waiting and watching as he is reading through this contract word for word again, but going at a steady pace. And he's not said anything for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just scrolling on this data pad. But finally, he comes back to the end of the contract and sets the data pad on the table on the page where he has to put his signature. And he looks towards you with this smirk? Question mark? And just kind of looks you over. When they said they were sending a delegate from a junior planet in the Republic, I was almost offended. You aren't half bad. At least with this part.
Thank you, your lordship. I appreciate that. I gotta say, you're probably the best hut I've ever negotiated with. So, how about we wrap this up, then maybe have ourselves a drink?
And he kind of, the smirk grows into a little smile. He turns towards one of the guards and motions. Across the room is where there is a bar set up. What do you drink?
I'm partial to wine. They don't really have wine outside of the cluster that's quite the same, but I'd like to see what's about.
Oh. Let me get you a bottle of wine, or at least a glass. That's from one of
Your
the
Highness.
furthest out parts of the galaxy.
This goddamn Your Highness, let's take everything step by step. How's about we get the signature done first?
Guys, I'd just like to say that Kane is sprinting to the palace. Just okay. Because his fucking negotiations are going at the speed of smell.
He's trying her best, okay?
Iffy, I want you to roll a cool at 2 purple just to see. Just to see where you are.
How thick is the vein in your forehead?
That's fair and valid. Let's see. Cool at 2 purple. If he's just barely got it.
By the fingernails. Climbing up by the fingernails.
I mean, Your Highness, I would hate for alcohol to cloud our senses on this. So how about we just, put the signature on this, then we got the rest of the day to drink, don't we?
Stick a little iron fist on there. This is a nice punctuation.
You say that, and you've now been stuck across from this hut for long enough that you feel like you're starting to pick up on one or two of his micro expressions. And you say that, and there's a kind of this flash of, I've got something that you know it before he says it, that he's about to say something to see if he can poke and prod at you. And that smile stays on his face. I didn't know that the biology of apes made you lose your senses with a single glass. It's interesting.
Well, Your Highness, we don't really talk very much to outsiders. I imagine it's quite like situations within the hut.
And he lifts his head, lifts his chin just slightly. And picks up the data pad and seems to be reviewing the final statements. And right about that time, that's when, Kane, you come sprinting up the stairs, around the side of the palace, to the front door, skidding to a halt to the front door. Unless you just want to barrel down the hallway.
Oh no, he is full tilt running. If there's guards in the way, he is not stopping unless they raise weapons.
Okay. So, Joe or Kira, one of you will roll a d20 for me.
You feeling lucky, Joe?
Absolutely not. Dibs. Let's fucking go.
Power of that combination, absolutely not, James.
You should know, just as a warning, that I do that all the time. If given the choice and it's like, hey, roll this thing to see if a good or bad thing happens, I always jump on it and I always want the worst thing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's to
I
the point
need
when
drama.
the rest of us that played other games with him, when it comes to, okay, somebody roll me, it's like, Joe, no. Every no, Joe's not allowed to do this anymore unless he is specifically asked.
And this is why. This is a perfect example.
So, you come barreling into the palace right as Timo is starting to sign.
Oh no. Balls and dicks.
And you just come. There's no guards in your way or anything. It's still that kind of eerily tucked away, artificial quiet. And if you're like halfway off this stool, scooting closer, just waiting for this fucking hut to sign so you can take the data pad back, as you hear just the tunk 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 of somebody running. And both you and Timo look up and towards the doorway, and all of the guards around you kind of bristle. And even Gal, you're turning, thinking something's about to bust through the doorway to attack, essentially. Just to see Kane skid around the corner at the top of the stairs.
So the razor wire of if he's cool shatters. Okay.
Oh hell yeah.
And she turns. She just sort of, slams her palms on the table, stands half up out of her seat, points at him, and is like, "If you ran all the way over here, and you don't even have my juice, you're going back out there right now."
I wanted to interrupt you as Kane, but I can't. God damn it. Okay. You tell him about the juice, and Kane again, like, look of just a mix of drive and terror on his face. And he looks past this stupid ass slug motherfucker to Iffy, because he does not give a rat fuck about this stupid planet mob boss of a desert shithole with whatever on it anymore. No, he's out. He's out. He looks at Iffy and he looks at Gal and he says, "We have got to get the fuck out of here right now." And he's like, he does not light it. He does not ignite his saber, but he brandishes it out, and he's like this is serious.
Iffy is still incandescent with fury. Listen here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna turn around and you're gonna
Iffy,
walk up those
the
steps.
Sith are here.
Galatea moves over to Iffy, wraps her arm around her. All right, boss, time to go. Let's go.
No, we're getting this contract.
Can you have Mr. Timo just mail the Republic a copy? If
No,
Kane,
you have to see him something.
no, boss, if Kane says we gotta go and it's this emergency, we gotta go.
I came all the way out here for this. I'm not leaving without seeing that contract.
Does he have? Is there any ink on the paper? Is this bitch like halfway through the letter T, or are we still waiting on like him to
essentially
put
he has
the
gotten
pen?
he's gotten half of his name down and has stopped, and the like stylus is like on top of the data pad, just watching the chaos and drama erupt in like 4 different directions in his throne room right now.
How many guards are in this throne room?
3.
Oh my god.
Kane looks at all 3 of them, locks eyes with them, and lights the saber, and then looks at Timo and just goes, "Write the rest of your fucking name."
This. I thought we had a good thing going, Kane. I thought we had a good thing going.
No, the only thing we have going right now is our fucking ticket out of here. And if you want that stupid paper signed, I'm going to get it signed.
Stupid paper! You have any idea how long I've been negotiating this goddamn deal?
So, Kane, you have
This went to
effectively
shit so fast.
you have effectively threatened a hut in his own throne
Yes.
room.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Gal so many sessions ago.
They really are
But-
two peas in a pod.
It is a nightmarish black mirror
I
where
will
Kane looks into Gal's eyes and sees his own reflection.
I will let you roll for this because you are brandishing a lightsaber, which is usually not a good sign for any like layperson in the galaxy. And we have the droid very close to Timo now. If Gal has come over to try and pull Iffy away, Iffy is not so threatening in and of herself, but the positioning is not fortunate for Timo. So, Kane, you can roll coercion. I will give you a blue because you have lit the lightsaber and you're very clearly a pissed off Force user of some sort. But it is at 3 purple.
1 blue and 3 purple. Can I use a light side point? Do I use a light side point before or after the roll?
What's
Before.
your coercion?
Yeah, what's
My
your
coercion? My coercion is 2 green with no ranks.
You're gonna fail regardless. Don't burn the light set point.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh no.
You don't know that. I might not fail.
You don't know that. The yellow does provide an opportunity for a triumph, which is important here. Which is a good that even if you fail, we can get something out of it. Otherwise, you would need a whole lot of advantage for that. I'm fine if you want to use a light side point here. Consult your heart.
We have 3.
Yeah,
My
we have
heart-
3.
My heart is predicated on gambling and mostly losing, but this
Yeah.
time,
Then by all means, gamble.
Okay.
do I
hope you
roll?
succeed.
I just add a white die to this roll.
No. So you're gonna essentially, excuse me.
One of your greens becomes a gold.
Yeah, one of
I
your
believe.
greens will become a gold. So
Gotcha.
you can just build, essentially, if you want.
If I do that,
the
turn
force
one
be
green
with
into a
you.
gold. Nope. Not only is the force not with me, it's actively against me.
So, where the fuck is that? Where's my shit? There it is. Okay. You make your threat to this hut, but the continued bickering that has now descended on those in this room detracts massively from your threat. And Timo just looks at you and looks over to Gal and Iffy.
No,
And
no.
there is what all three of you can ping, or especially you, Iffy. It's Gal, if you were actually paying attention to the hut through this long negotiation project, is there is a hint of amusement now. And Kane, in the back of your mind, you immediately ping that as, oh, this was that careful control earlier. He was waiting for this.
Oh.
Your Highness. Your,
This absolute bitch.
Your Highness, I am so sorry. I don't know why I employ men in the first place. I think it might be a mistake. I need to look over my hiring practices. If you could just sign this, please. It doesn't affect the terms of our negotiation
I want
whatsoever.
to pick up Iffy. I want to pick up Iffy.
Iffy can make one last roll before you do that, Gal.
Okay.
You can do a charm or a negotiation at
Those
4.
are both I think equivalent. So let me just see if I have any talents here. That
Here, desperate, please. Let me.
that it's yeah, I think I picked negotiation with smooth talker, so I'll go with that. There's 2 yellow, 2 green, 1 purple. Still, rather 3 purple, reduced to 1.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Come on, Iffy. Yes.
Yeah.
So you immediately, as Gal is like trying to gather you up, you're like still. Gal is strong because she is a droid, but you are still taller than Gal. And so you're able to cause just enough difficulty for Gal that you're able to stand there kind of pushing her off and squirming out of her hands just long enough that you can get off. Like, please just sign, please sign. And it gets under your skin. But Timo just starts laughing. One of the big, deep belly laughs that the hut do. That
Oh, yeah.
just, he is far too amused by the chaos and panic in this room. And chaos and panic that, as far as you are aware, he is not at all concerned about affecting him. But he looks back down to this pad, finishes signing his name, hands you this contract. 100% ironclad signed and finished. And as your fingers wrap around it, he just smirks again. Good luck. And lets it go.
Thank you, Your Highness. If he will now, like, making, bowing appropriately, try to get her ass out of there.
Fuck.
Okay. So, our group heads back out of the palace. And Kana, you have gone to the ship to start warming it up, essentially.
Yep.
And requesting appropriate permissions to get off the planet and everything. And you've gotten the permissions. The landing bay ceiling has fully retracted so that the ship won't have any issues taking off. And the rest of you head out of the palace and start down the side of the cliff along this narrow, twisting stairway carved into the stone. And all three of my Force-sensitive children, the two of you that already felt this weight, it is beginning to form and coalesce in the back of your mind. And both of you realize that it's not just a Sith. For them to have kept up this pressure this long,
It's the whole goddamn empire.
it's a Sith Lord.
Oh no.
Gotta be shitting every one of me.
Time to go. I mean, I don't know it's time to go, but
Iffy. That tingle in the back of your mind, when you've been on Coruscant, or anywhere that there is a Jedi Master, that tingle in the back of your mind has formed just a little bit more and felt like a heat, like a fire in the back of your mind rather than just a weird presence, a little weird whisper.
Mm-hmm.
It feels cold.
No.
You've never felt it feel cold before.
I don't like this. I don't like a bit of this. I trust you. I trust you, Kane. But next time you come down, you gotta
Shut up! And he's just pushing you on the shoulder with Gal. Just for the first time, him and Gal working together to push Iffy forward. Just like, no, none of this. We're going to the ship. We're leaving. Fuck this place.
And with that, you've reached the bottom of the cliff. You see the hangar. You're starting across to the hangar. And we're going to go ahead and take our 10-minute break.
Sounds good. Be right back.
I was specifically told, don't mess with Sith. Why? Why a Sith Lord?
I don't know if the rule of two is in place at this point. I don't think it is. Because what
No.
are the odds? Okay.
Yeah. This is a period where there is a full-on Sith empire of many Sith and many Sith apprentices. There's just as many Sith as there are Jedi.
Yeah, so this is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That means that there's actually balance in the Force now.
But yeah, there is just as many Sith as there are Jedi. A Sith Lord, though, if any of you are confused, but that's equivalent to a Jedi Master.
Perfectly balanced. No, as all things should be.
Oh god.
It's kind of funny because we started the session with perfectly balanced dice. Destiny dice.
I need to finish shoving this food in my mouth.
Hello again.
Piper is scaring me. She won't tell me what's going on.
Oh boy.
just keeps saying, I know what I must do.
Say what?
Piper keeps saying, I know what I must do, and she's not explaining.
Is it shoot? Is it shoot iffy? You just gotta like get back to the fucking get back to the ship and just like, well, just gonna have to put her down.
She's clearly defective.
Yeah, she's gone sick in the head. It's unfortunate, but necessary evil.
So this is one of those situations where when the DM writes the scenario, they expect that the players know that this is such an obvious threat that they should just know to run away, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was told to run away if just encountering a Sith. Not even a Sith Lord.
So the thing that went through my head is no, it would be a Sith lightsaber, but
yeah,
excuse me. The system does not have a laddered level structure. The only vertical progression you see is whatever is in the specific career or force tree or whatever you pick. So when you get to the end of it, which the starting experience and the per session experience you get can get you to the end of a tree pretty quickly. It says to me, oh, this is a system where you can just go and go and go because you can just keep tacking on more experience and making yourself grow laterally, where you can just go and fill out every tree and get everything in each tree that you invest in. And when I think about it that way, I'm like, wow, that's a really cool system. And then it's like, oh, this is a character who is hugely kick-ass and incredibly scary. And I'm like, oh, I don't have a metric for how strong this person is, but I can only imagine how many trees they have filled out. And if it's anything like any game cutscene or movie or other shit where you see a Jedi or a Sith do some fucking nonsense, he's got to have at least 3 or 4 trees filled the fuck out. And that's the minimum that I can guess. There's no level 20. He's probably effectively a level 20 in 3 different things. And this dude's just fucking showing up here. I was thinking about this system and I was like, there is no explicit, like, you have hit the top of the ceiling until you get every point in every class and everything that you can actually invest in, which is so ludicrous that a campaign would never go there.
Yeah. I will
But,
say,
like
in my experience, usually there comes a point where it becomes really boring to play a character when you've gotten too much experience. And so generally that's the cutoff of like, okay, time to make a new character. But yeah. I'm not actually going to say anything. You all have the context for what a Sith Lord is.
It also helps that, yeah, like, I know enough of the fiction to be like, okay, cool. This dude is hard as fuck. And then I can look at the roleplay system and be like, okay, this bad.
Oh, all I have to do
Bad
is
thing.
remember the end of Rogue One. That's all I got to do. Or the end of Mandalorian 2, when it took Luke Skywalker to shut down. Oh, actually, those were just super robots. Never mind. I withdraw my comment about Mandalorian and the Mandalorian 2.
Well, we would be the robots in that example.
Yep.
The only
No,
context
the
I
robots
have
were
is
super tough. They couldn't defeat him. The main
Robots
heroes
were
could not
tough.
defeat him. Super tough.
Where
And they were
we
going to
would lose to the
lose.
robots.
They were going to lose at the end of Mando 2
Mm-hmm.
until Luke Skywalker showed up as, freaking Deus Ex Machina and saved the day. Thank you, Luke. I don't care. If you haven't watched it by now, you legitimately don't care. So I don't
Well,
care.
to be fair to Iris, she just got into Star Wars like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Luke Skywalker is a hero. He's a farm boy.
Yeah.
He does cool
Went
stuff.
on an adventure.
Iris has gotten through the Clone Wars TV series in
the first 5.
five of the 6 like primary movies. So
I'm honestly shocked you got through the Clone Wars like entire TV series because God, it's so ugly.
I love that show.
It took a little getting used to, but it's not as bad once you get used to it.
It is big uggo. I wish it was easier for me to watch because there's a lot of cool stuff in there. There's some good lore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it's so fucking ugly.
Honestly, though, I like the Clone Wars art style better than I like the Rebels art style. Rebels was the one
Yeah,
that
Rebels
I had some trouble with.
came across a little too cartoony. It's like I kind of wish like if they were going to go cartoony, they should have just gone back into like 2D.
I would have loved it if they had
like-
just gotten Gendy to do everything.
Of course.
I like that. I like that series, the 2D Clone Wars. That was amazing. It's a little OP, but it's amazing. The dude knows how to do high level play, basically.
Yeah. The only thing is, I feel bad that like the I'm so biased towards 2D, and I mean Grievous is a cool character exclusively because of that show. But like,
yeah.
And I feel bad because he deserved justice. Feel bad for him. Pour one out for the homie.
I will.
I will.
In a sense, I don't actually drink alcohol.
Just pour out some water.
So, I hear a Imbi and I hear a Joe. I heard a Kira. Do I have an Iris and a Piper?
Yes.
I have to step away from my computer, but I have my headset. I am still able to engage, though. Just FYI.
Okay.
Piper is here. She just grabbed the water.
Okay. So... So, you are all rushing for this landing bay, and Kana has gotten the ship ready and has gotten it prepared and is on, and its engines are heated, and you all can hear it even before you reach the landing bay. That familiar sound of a starship's engines turning over. And it is almost a breath of relief as you're rounding kind of the edge of the barracks and heading up the street. Like, oh God, thank God she did what she said she was going to do. there is home and safety. And as you are rushing up the street and essentially walking into the conjunction of the streets where it's opened, right in front of the bay, Iffy and Kane, you feel it. An instant before anything happens, just a knife of ice plunging into your spine, essentially, in the sensation of it. And you turn, and you guys all will grab a token. Iffy, because it's a guard Iffy game. You're here.
Oh, Christ.
And...
Did you just say it's a guard iffy game?
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out which token to grab. It's like, oh, I'll grab Kane. No, that's just being mean to Kane. It's a guard Iffy game. Go with Iffy. Oh, I forgot that I got that token back. Cool.
Iffy's AI just got like substantially worse for no reason.
Iffy is working on fucking dial-up noise right now.
She's gonna do that thing where she runs off and then just stops in a random place. You're like, what the fuck are you doing there?
I don't know which one I want to grab, so I'm just going to grab a random thing. There we go. Right here. Put small. Small. God damn it. Small.
Just like command.
Roll 20 is being a bitch. Okay. Down a ways in the street, you see 4 figures. 2 in what are very clearly standard Imperial soldier uniforms. 1 in a Imperial officer uniform. And in between the 3 of them, a tall figure in black armor with something clasped in his hand that you, Kane, immediately just in your gut know is a lightsaber of some sort. And there is a mask of some sort covering their lower part of their face and a hood pulled up over the top of their head, so you can't really see anything of their face or their body other than this is a massive figure. 6'7", 6'8", broad, in what all of you at this point in the war, even if you've never directly been in fights with Sith or Jedi, you've seen the Jedi walking around. The ones that are on the front lines, this is what they wear. And they are all walking up the street in your direction. And as soon as you guys break out from this building heading towards the open hangar door, the soldiers raise their blasters and take aim. You all get a quick reaction if you guys want to do anything. Other than just book it.
If he's going to book it.
I'm gonna book it also, dodging if I can.
Okay.
I mean, Does a quick reaction allow me to book it with the team and also turn on my lightsaber?
Yes.
Dope, because that's the plan.
Piper? Piper? He's muted.
Still muted, Piper.
I'm working on it. Okay, so Galatea will like lower her hand and like unsling her shield from her back, and she'll kind of quickly turn around and plant it so where she's in front of everybody, she's gonna raise her shield.
Okay. So you are guarding the back with your shield as best as you can.
Yep.
So, Iffy and Marcy, you guys are booking it. Let's see if the bad guys have shitty aim. And I forget with your shield, Piper, because it's been a minute since you've used it. Is that increasing your soak?
That's a good question. Let me look at it. See, combat sheet. Combat sheet. And it's deflection two.
You cut out. I couldn't quite catch up.
Is defensive two, deflection two.
Okay. Cool. Deflection too. Alright. So, you guys turn and are booking it. And immediately, these two soldiers just start laying down a hail of blaster bolts in your direction.
Tell my wife I love her.
It is all that any of you can do to just duck and run. And kinda, even through the layers of the ship in the cockpit, it's enough that you are hearing it. And you immediately just have that sinking feeling. Well, shit. And Iffy and Marcy first. You can give me athletics or coordination at 2 purple.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see what we got here. Well, looks like coordination is my go-to. Looks pretty.
2 purple. Okay. As I only have 1 athletics, we're just gonna do that. Coordination.
It's not the worst. So you both are kind of leading this charge up because you know at least Kane and Gal might have a shot of lasting for about 10 seconds if they need to. And you are just full on running as hard and as fast as either of you have run before. And you just feel the heat of these blaster bolts just inches away from your head and your shoulders and grazing the side of your arm. Not enough to hurt you, but just enough to sting, and know you look down and you see the burnt, singed edges of holes in your sleeves. And yet both of you manage to just dive through this doorway into the landing bay beyond and start rushing up the cargo ramp into the actual ship. Kane.
Oh god.
Roll me discipline at 3 purple.
3 purple, no blue.
Hey.
I was not expecting that.
You feel a presence in your mind as the Sith reaches out and tries to do something. You don't know what. But instantly, as soon as you feel this, you go back to every ounce of training your master ever gave you and lock down your mind as fast as you can. And just kind of lower your chin and keep running, and like your eyes are tight as you're trying to force this presence and push every ounce of the force that you have in your body up into a wall to block this. But even as you are able to stop whatever this Sith is trying to do, you feel just that jolt of pure panic go through you from head to toe. And you are taken back to that day in the exact same panic that coursed through you. But you managed to go diving into this hangar bay. Gal, you're bringing up the back of this group.
Yep.
This shield raised, feeling the blaster bolts hit. Some burning through the shield and flying past, luckily not hitting you. Others being blocked by the shield itself and just hammering against it. And it's everything. It takes every ounce of control that you have in your servos, in your joints, to keep yourself balanced in this backward rush that you're trying to do. And you hear the telltale sound of 1 pair of feet, 2, 3. You feel your heels hit the concrete of the landing bay rather than the kind of soft, even in the beaten nature of these streets and walkways and alleys of this crater, the still comparatively soft feel of the sand and dirt beneath your feet. And you turn, looking to close this doorway to try and add an extra few seconds between this group and Iffy and the rest. And immediately you take a look at this control panel. It's been sabotaged. The door is not going to close.
Fucker.
Sabotage.
Iffy
Oh no.
and Marcy, you make it onto the ship. And Kane, you're hitting the cargo ramp. And Kana, you are in the cockpit still trying to do the last minute things that you can as much as you can. You're going to fly this fucking ship if you have to. You're not a pilot yourself necessarily. You've been taut a little bit. But if you have to, you're going to get this fucking ship into the air, if nothing else. And
the go button.
as you're there, you get a little beep of an incoming message that from something the ship does not recognize. And your first instinct is to just ignore it. Too many other things going on. Don't care. And it beeps and beeps. And then suddenly it starts to play, despite you not pressing any buttons. And you hear a familiar voice that at other times might irk you just a little bit, but at the moment is somewhat welcome. Of Captain Shiska coming through.
Who?
And just this, sounds like you have a little bit of a problem down there.
More than a little bit.
You, I'm assuming, got to, that sassy ambassador's ship.
That's where I am now.
Is it space-worthy?
It is fixed, right?
Yes. You guys fixed it
Okay.
last time.
Yeah, okay. It can fly.
Well, want a little bit of help?
That would be appreciated.
You're buying my
Yes.
drinks next time we're on planet, then.
Deal.
And there's
I will buy a
immediate
whole fucking round.
an immediate cutoff. And
Master. Thank you.
Marcy and Iffy, you heard a strange voice in the ship. Iffy, you are like, that sounded vaguely familiar, but you're still too much of a panic, too much adrenaline to replace it. But Kana doesn't seem to be disturbed, at the very least. So you put it out of mind.
Kata's mumbling to herself like, thank you for having weird friends, Master. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait a second. Is somebody on my ship? Is somebody on my ship?
Not right now, Ambassador. Not right now.
What do you mean not right now? Did you see the people? Are they on the ship?
It's just a message.
A message from
Marcy.
who?
Marcy, you're a pilot, right?
As I get into the pilot's thingy,
You won't even
just
answer,
so
you just get
moving.
into the seat.
Get this thing moving.
all right, I'll start running system checks and turning everything on, basically.
Okay.
I'll
So,
go down
What
to
else has
the...
been sabotaged?
Oh, no.
as far as either of you are aware, because Kana has been doing preliminary checks for a few minutes now, everything seems to look okay on the ship itself.
Don't
And
feel safe with this ship.
Gal, you hear the running of feet up onto the onto the cargo ramp, and you hear Kane, a little heavier than the other two, starting up. But as soon as you hear that, you see that Sith, who had just been walking before, come charging. Faster than you've seen
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
any flesh and blood, or at least assumedly flesh and blood, species move before. And as he makes it up halfway up the street in a third of the time it should take him. You see a massive lightsaber that glows deep, deep crimson ignite. And he is heading
They're
directly
evil.
towards you.
Towards Kane?
Towards Gal.
Towards Gal?
Because Gal's behind all of you. And she's the one that saw... She's the only one that has noticed. The door is broken.
Alright. Galate is gonna tip her fedora down a little bit lower, and she's gonna try fucking tackle him.
What the fuck are you doing? I want to have Kane notice or something, or maybe intervene.
Kane is still in the grips of pure panic.
Oh god.
Kane is
Damn.
running for his life.
Oh.
And
This hurts my bones. Kane, you bitch.
Gal, you'll make an athletics check. Let's see here. With 2 purple and a red and a black.
Should I try and tackle him, or should I try and shoot his leg? Would that make a difference?
Tackle, if you do well enough, you'll have the chance to try and grapple him. Leg, you can try to shoot him, but Gal would be smart enough to know that she could probably do damage to him, but he is wearing heavy armor.
Okay. So 2 purple, a black, and a red.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like my odds of this. Let's fucking go.
It's not as bad as it could have been, though.
Nope.
You did not
wait.
roll a
I also
despair.
rolled- Yeah.
So, you go... Excuse me. You go diving towards this charging Sith, leaving your shield up as some sort of protection against the blaster bolts flying past it towards the ship. And you connect squarely with this Sith's chest. You feel your arms wrap around him. But he is moving so fast, with such force, that he just keeps moving with you on him. He doesn't even seem to pay you attention.
If he's on the ship and doesn't see this happening, right?
Mm-hmm. Everybody is now on the ship.
Nuts.
Would you like to try anything else? Gal.
So he knocks me aside, or I'm just not catching up with him?
You're hanging off of him.
Wait. I have an snare. Can I arm an electro snare on top of us?
Sure.
Wrap us both up. I don't give a fuck.
So you feel your fingers digging into a joint in this armor and finding purchase to keep you held on. Because you're a droid, you don't get tired. Your arms don't give away. As soon as you're locked in, you're locked in. And you reach for this snare. And you're not even trying to be careful. You pull it out. You hit the button as you're pulling it out. And immediately you feel the electricity course through you and then course through this Jedi, and you are seized up now completely. And even in the season, you feel the Sith continue to move, but there's a hitch and a stumble, and he's slowed. And Marcy, you, not realizing what's going on, pull the cargo bay door up. You'll roll a planetary piloting at 3 purple.
Intergalactic planetary. Intergalactic. Come on, give me some good stuff. I hope that's good.
Yep. And so you start the engines and start to take off in the...
Does it sound like a 1950s hot rod?
little bit.
Can I shout something to them as they're taking off?
Yep.
I'm gonna be like, hey, don't you let her come back now, yeah?
You hear Gal calling to you as you have, like, hit the deck, essentially, when you hit the cargo bay. Because it's like, this might be safety. And you turn and look over your shoulder as Gal is yelling to you, and you see Gal locked in with this Sith in a electric snare net. And the door closes.
Oh no.
Oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to throw one thing.
Quick. One sentence.
Kane, he sees Gal, hears what she says, see that she's locked up, and there's like it is like hitting him. He's processing it as fast as he possibly can, and he's like, I can't save her. And he reaches to his pocket, or he reaches over his shoulder and grabs one of the swords and throws it out there towards Gal, hoping that she can get it and at least try to put up another little bit of fight. That's it.
You throw this sword out, and Gal, you see it fly out of this door before the hangar, or before the cargo bay ramp fully closes, and the ship disappears into the roof, and then above the roof, heading away from the crater, you hear behind you what sounds like another ship, engines starting up and moving, right as the Sith breaks away from you, throws you aside into the building. Stands there and watches Iffy's ship for a second. And turns towards you.
Lord.
What would you like to do, Gal?
So the Sith got up,
Mm-hmm. The
tried to catch it, he's turned away, looked at me.
Mm-hmm.
Galatea is just gonna give a droid laugh and tip her fedora. Get fucked, nerd.
No!
And
Fuck.
this Sith, you are now positioned in such a way that you can see just these two molten gold eyes under this hood as they stare at you for a second. And you hear what you think might be a scoff behind the mask. And they reach out in your direction. And the last thing you see, Gal, is this warehouse wall crumbling down on top of you.
Oh dear.
And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
Oh.
Gala got the last laugh. Get fucked, nerd.